Now let's get straight into it with my panel, Sky News host here in Sydney, Paul Murray. And Paul Murray, you're shaking your head at seeing Martha Stewart cover girl at 81. We should all be so lucky to be on the cover of a magazine at 81 looking so good.
Hang on, just let me check my HR notes. I am shaking my head because, this is a script that's been provided to me, I'm shaking my head because it should have happened a lot sooner.
I take it this isn't a magazine you're going to be buying to look at an 81-year-old.
Does anyone? Look, I buy two magazines. One's called Total Film from the UK, and the other is Unique Cars here in Australia because it's got good old-fashioned beasts that are around. As for the rest of it, enjoy the internet.
Didn't even know Sports Illustrated was still, but I didn't even know Red Roosters was still around. So well, there you go. You find out something new every day.
355.
Yeah,
wow.
Well,
okay.
There you go. And let's also bring in the other half of our panel in Perth, Gemma Tognini from GT Communications. Great to see you, Gemma.
They let me back in behind the West Australian border, Sharri. And all I can say about Martha Stewart is she's had a little bit of help, but you don't live in the same house for 80 years without renovating, so more power to her.
Well. Well, some people age gracefully. Not everyone has the help. Not everyone does. A lot of people aging gracefully.
Does, but I
very controversial topic still.
I think we can safely say there's a little bit of help. Oh, God bless her.
I repeat.
She's definitely had.
10 years ago, I would have been allowed to have an opinion on this matter.
Okay, well, all good. Let's get to a topic you can have an opinion on without any HR notes.
Thank you.
The Queensland Treaty.
This is massive.
Yeah, this is massive. So this is just in Parliament last week. The Labor government passed the historic Path to Treaty legislation. This had the support of the coalition in Queensland. But already today in the Australian, Paul Murray, we're hearing that Indigenous corporations will push for the power to veto mines in environmentally and culturally sensitive areas as part of these treaty negotiations with the Queensland government.
Which will be all of Queensland. I mean, what part is not culturally sensitive to whatever the local nations were of the time? This is the other shoe to drop, right? For all the passion that people have around the voice. Remember the way that this is working, where the voice is the first part, treaty is the second part, and truth-telling is the third, or it's the other way around when it comes to those two. But we're starting to see now the treaty process, which, remember, is not something that they put to a vote. It's just what parliaments are putting through. The Northern Territory, Victoria's going through the process, and now Queensland. Now, remember, this is not what is now being said as potential outcomes in Queensland. It's not being made up by some right-wing politician who wants you to vote no. This is from the very groups that would be potentially empowered to turn around and say no. Just like for the federal budget, the Queensland budget is propped up by resources. If they are going to find a way to deny new exploration of resources, we're going to be in a big trouble very soon. And I don't know whether Good Vibes is going to replace those budget outcomes.
Well, I think it's a really interesting point that you raised, Paul, and Gemma, let's bring you in here because, you know, the debate about the voice at the moment is very esoteric, you know, but here we are seeing the right to block resources projects on traditional land. So if this goes ahead, you know, if Indigenous groups do decide to block projects on Indigenous lands, this could affect the outcome of the referendum later this year.
I have no doubt that it already is impacting the outcome of the referendum, Sharri. As you just pointed out, the conversation around the voice has been all about the feeling and all about the moral bullying. And I say that as someone who still is on the fence, and I'm still on the fence because I don't have enough detail to make an informed decision, and the federal government doesn't seem inclined to give me the detail that I require to do so. And the issue that Mr Albanese has is that playing out in Queensland under a Labor government are all of these matters that are so undetermined, so up in the air, but all very plausible, and he has no answer for them. And all of Australia's watching. And to Paul's point about the budget, I mean, the federal budget just delivered by, Mr Chalmers, the federal budget that he just delivered was so heavily reliant on resources revenue, and yet, throwing billions and billions of dollars of green energy whilst, being able to prop up the economy
yes, it's
on the
such
back
a good
of the resources industry.
Yeah, it's a good point, Paul Murray. There's
nonsense.
paradox within the Labor government. They've delivered a surplus off the back of the resources, but at the same time they want to transition away and towards renewable energy.
Are you saying there was a reason I called him Each Way Albo for years and years and years every night on the program, which is say one thing, want to deliberately do another?
I miss your DJ Albo.
Well, we'll bring it back one day.
Bring it back.
But what about today? Another wedding, this time Brendan Favola on Fox in Melbourne. He's agreed to go to his wedding as well. So if you're an FM DJ anywhere in the country and you want to do a good little rating stunt, you've first got to get engaged and then you'll probably get Albo at your wedding.
I don't mind the Prime Minister going to the wedding. What I mind is the Prime Minister appearing alongside questionable figures from the underworld. I think that's the problem.
Well, that's enough about the Labor Party conference.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, look, let's turn to this story.
Joking, lawyers.
I know, hilarious.
Dear God.
It is very funny, though.